the creators that are in the diaspora, the African creators in the diaspora, they completely disregard and dismiss what the South Africans are crying about. I mean, with regards to the, for example, to the powder situation and stuff like that, which actually it is quite true, you know. But also on the other side, the unaliving of people and stuff like that, nobody will ever support that. But to say now that whenever we come on lives, just even if we were talking about a different topic, like yesterday I was on your live, today I'm on your live, and I saw that initially you were talking, you wanted to talk about dating. Now we will be coming to a platform completely to talk about something else, and then all of a sudden we have to, that the whole thing has to change. You know, I don't think that this is what any host would want to do, because you want to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. And now Estella says that, yeah, okay, if a South African comes on board, you don't even know where I stand on the issue, and then you'll just waste your time, you know, trying to convince me or trying to show me whatever it is that you want to show me. But I already understand what is happening in the country. Like Miss Sunshine, he said it all. I love her submission, and it was very informed. But as for Estella to just want us to be attacked for the sake of being attacked, it doesn't make sense, honestly. But respect to you for saying, you know what, I don't care enough. Not to say I don't care about South Africa or about South Africans, but I don't care enough for me, or I'm not that well informed for me to be able to have an opinion. That takes a lot, you know, for someone to admit that. So thank you so much.
No, fantastic. No, so again, like I said, I know my strengths and my weakness. My strength. Hey, Elaine, how are you? Elaine is a subscriber. Thank you so much, Elaine. Guys, please don't forget to tap the screen. It tells TikTok that you like it here. Please just tap, double tap once. I know my strengths. You know, my strength is West Africa, Central Africa, a little bit of East Africa. I don't know enough about Southern Africa. Let's go to Zonwa. Zonwa, you have 2 minutes. Welcome.
Hi, Kim.
Wait.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I think the reason that I actually came up was that I wanted to ask you maybe 1 or 2 questions, and also maybe just to try to add some other stuff of in terms of Africa as a whole, what their beliefs are about South Africa. So maybe the first one is, when we spoke about the independence from the Mandela time of South Africa got independence like 30 years ago, and Nigeria got independence when in the 1960s. And you said there's certain things that, yeah. And you said there's certain things that as South Africa that we don't have that Nigeria has. But maybe just a question from you to you, actually, and then you can respond after my submission, is it true that 90% of Nigerians don't own the land? And if that is the case, who owns the land? As much as a lot of African people, they always say that South Africans don't own land. And maybe just to come to the problem about, not the problem, maybe just Malema's stance about the land. He's always presenting this thing.
Let me answer the land question quickly.
Okay.
About Nigeria, so that I don't forget. Okay. So I'll just answer. I'll give you more time. So it's all cool. It's all cool. So the thing is, Nigerians do own the land. That's true. So let me explain how it works. Okay. So Nigeria is now, of course, ultimately it's owned by the government. Like in most places, the government automatically has jurisdiction of the land. But in Nigeria, for example, you have a lot of villages, right? So if let's take, I'm from Akwa Ibom State. You don't need to know where it is. It's in the southern part of Nigeria, okay? Now, in that place, you have tribes, right? Tribes, and land is automatic. It's what I mean by automatic. Like it's a communal thing. So my forefather had his land. He passed it on to my grandfather had land from his father. You understand? My grandfather passed it on to my father, who had land. Like I'm talking to you now, I have land in Nigeria, just by default of my. So, and this is across the state. This is across the country. Okay. Now I'm sure there's some like wide expanse of land like this for industrial use that maybe is owned by a company, which might not be owned by a Nigerian. Does that make sense? But Nigerians have like personal land. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as in South Africa. We've got our own lands based on our tribes, right? Now, I think a lot of people, they looking at it as if Black South Africans, they don't own land. We do own land, like in the villages and whatsoever. But however, for us to be able to earn like a salary, or it can be wages or whatsoever. We have to move to certain areas like industrial or commercial for us to be able to earn an income, right?
Yeah.
This is where people are being misled. Number two, in terms of farming, yes, it shows that the land it's owned by mostly white people. Now, I think it was 72% that white people are owning the land and 4% is Black South Africans. The reason for that is because of Black South Africans, we are actually farming in our own lands. However, when it comes to farming, most Black South Africans were never really interested in terms of farming. That is the reason that when Malema spoke about it, now all the EFF members, they're thinking, yes, we want to do farming. We want to do this and this and then and that. So people are being misled, when it comes to the land issue. Now, the second one, in terms of the unaliving, I have joined a lot of lives and I've asked questions to say, when you say South Africans are unaliving other Black African people, do you have any stats or anything that can show that South Africans are unaliving our African brothers or sisters, as you call it? They don't have any proof, right? Because of their instigators they come to all these lives and they will say, yeah, they're being unalived by people that are not Pan-Africanist, people who are patriotic, like as much as Dudula, right? Now, coming to Dudula, their stance is that in terms of illegal foreigners, right, in occupation of the jobs, right, they are being exploited, and that's the reason they're occupying those jobs, where most Black South Africans, they don't actually have jobs because of that, right? And they're being exploited by the Muzungus that people are fighting, right? And the Pan-Africanists are saying, oh, the Muzungus are doing that. But they allow other African people to come to South Africa and be exploited. That's inhuman. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to the legal foreigners, right, there's a point in our constitution in terms of making sure that we as South Africans are placed in the jobs before we can actually place foreign nationals, right? And I know a lot of people, they've got an issue when it comes to the word foreign, being called a foreigner in Africa, that you can't be a foreigner in Africa. But as South Africans, when we go to other countries.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't also like that. Calling him a Black African. But go on.
I know a lot of people that don't like that, but it's reality that even if I go to Zimbabwe or any other country, I am a foreigner. Actually, they call us aliens, right? Now, if you go to an example, very simple example, our next door neighbors, which is Zimbabwe. If you go to Zimbabwe, no South African is allowed to actually go and occupy any job, or even open a spaza shop, as much as we are accommodating other African countries, right? There is no issue.
Okay.
The problem is
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you must do your own research, right? So as much as we are fighting the illegalities that are happening in the country, we then call as xenophobics. And then all of a sudden we are called Afrophobics and whatsoever, right? We're trying to fix a lot of things, right? But then we're getting a lot of pushback from Black African people to say, yeah, it's not your country. You are led and you voted for the DA. They don't even understand what happened in elections. That is the reason, like your MK parties, they went and they disputed the elections. That's where my problem is. So,
okay,
Estella, maybe with the unaliving,
land your plane.
I am with the unaliving. We need to have facts, and I always tell people, have your facts. Give me the stats. Then I can myself investigate the reason or who was unalived or what happened, because it's absolute rubbish. Because I'll give you an example, and no offense, the Nigerians are always fighting for territory in terms of the powder. So we have those issues. We need to resolve that. And if people are not happy with South Africa, South Africans are saying, then leave the country, then we can fix our own issues. I'll land my plane there.
Okay.